so I'm pleased to turn this over to Robert Bole, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Vice President of Digital Media Strategy for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Robert.
Well, thank you very much. Glad we're handing out the reports. So we have two amazing speakers here today to talk a little bit about, coming from the last panel. We have Michael Levine, who's the Executive Director of the Joan, Ganz, Cooney Center, and one of the visionaries that focuses on the future of media, education, and technology. And then we also have Sara, DeWitt, who is personally responsible for much of my family's happiness as Vice President for PBS Kids Interactive. Just as a means of introduction, we obviously know that there's a very evolving media environment going on out there, and public media has played a role in providing and using technology for education. I mean, it starts at the beginning with Sesame Workshop and educational television. It's moved on to some of the first websites for kids using technology, and then some of the first mobile applications for technology. CPB, Corporation Public Broadcasting, was recipient of many number of years, including continuing, of the Ready to Learn grant. And if you've been tracking the Department of Education's Ready to Learn, you can see that they've gone from typical curriculum-based development and technology to much more of an interactive gaming environment, really thinking about the future in a significant way. I have to say that public media probably is not at the bleeding edge of technology, and I think there's a good reason for that, that's the reason for public service. We have to really balance what we're doing in terms of innovation with the idea of bringing actual, real educational value. And so that's the premise of this conversation and the report that was just recently put out. Some of the big issues we're going to touch today, the evolving nature of family communications, how families are talking to one another, how kids are interacting with devices. We're going to look at the changing nature of consumer behavior. How are people thinking about the delivery platforms, the form factors of content, and the form factors of the devices? And then finally, and I think most importantly, is this merging of media and education. And what are the responsibilities of the business sector? What are the responsibilities of the educational sector? So one of the early things we found in this report that was put out recently was that there is, in the informal learning environment, actual learning going on with applications. But rather than jump right into the report, maybe we would start off with some demos of what the heck we're talking about. So Sara, DeWitt.
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here, and we're excited to share some of the work we've been working on. At PBS Kids, certainly we are the largest non-commercial broadcaster of children's media, and we really, for a very long time, since the 1960s, have felt that every new technology is a new opportunity for learning. And so when the apps revolution started to take place, we immediately realized that this was a great opportunity for us to explore new methods of learning with kids. Let's see. Last March, the PBS Kids team was at South by Southwest, and we did a session on the pass-back effect. And back then, no one had really heard about that. It was all really new. It was before the iPad came out, and now I'm sure there's no one in this room who hasn't heard about that. The idea that a parent just takes their iPhone and hands it back to their kid when they're sitting in the grocery store or in the car, something to just keep them quiet for a few minutes so that they can work on something else. So we were thinking, what are the opportunities for that moment? First, for kids to learn, to have a short experience that really does reinforce some of the learning goals of our television properties and of the curriculum that we work so closely with. And then also, what are some opportunities for parent-child interaction if you're dealing with a parent-driven device that gets handed back to a child? So the two apps I want to show you today, and the ones that are included in the report, are from Super Y, which is a show for 2 to 5-year-olds that focuses on early literacy, and Martha Speaks, which is a show for 4 to 7-year-olds that focuses on vocabulary acquisition. Are you familiar with Super Y? Are you familiar with Super Y? A few people in the room? All right. What about Martha Speaks? Okay, great. The dog who eats alphabet soup and can speak. These two apps in particular were funded by the U.S. Department of Education through the Ready to Learn grant that Rob mentioned. And so we then brought these two apps into Title I schools. We recruited 90 kids from schools that are primarily students who receive free and reduced lunch. That's what makes them Title I. We gave them an iPod Touch, loaded these apps on them, and then let them play with them for 2 weeks and did pre and post testing. So I'll show you the apps first. Do we have audio on? Okay, great. I'm going to turn down the audio just a little bit. So for any of you who have seen the Super Wide TV show, you'll see that this mimics that experience very closely. You play with Alpha Pig.
Alpha Pig's lickety letter hunt.
He's going to
Are
bring
you
you
ready
on
to
a letter
play
hunt
lickety
just as he
letter
does in the
hunt?
show.
Great! When you find all of the letters on the path to build a word,
So just like in the show, there's a moment where Alpha Pig is going to help you with letter recognition skills. He's going to help you try to find that letter on the side.
we need to find all of the letters in the word star. Do you see the letter S?
Do you see the letter S?
Yes.
Is it this one?
Great.
Somebody said no. So you continue through and you find the letters. Now, for those of you who know and have kids who watch the show, you know every child has a favorite character, and each character focuses on a different skill area. So Princess Presto is helping us with spelling and actually writing letters. So this is one of the fun things that we were experimenting with this app.
Listen to the sound and press on
Is
the button.
not only could we help kids find the letters, but could we also help guide them in tracing the letters, those early motions that will lead to writing.
Word. Sun.
Sun. Okay, so we chose an S.
Beautiful.
And now, Wanza.